Murdering a nun could be so inflammatory to a jury in this heavily Catholic state that the man charged with doing it would not be able to get a fair trial. That's what lawyers for an accused nun killer claim in their effort to prevent the jury from hearing anything about religion or that the victim was a nun. But federal prosecutors are now firing back about that. News 13's Katie Kim is in the Newsplex.
The feds say the fact the victim is a nun is very relevant. It's why she was targeted.
The paperwork keeps piling up. This before the case even heads to trial next month. Sister Marguerite Bartz was bludgeoned to death on Halloween night in 2009. The 64-year-old was living alone in her convent home in Navajo, just north of Gallup, when she was beat with her own flashlight after confronting a burglar. The FBI named the then 18-year-old Rogelio Carroll as her killer. His motive? Investigators say he was looking for money for drugs and booze, and that he knew a parish had cash from collections and fundraisers. Just last week, Carroll's defense asked a judge to bar any mention of the fact Sister Bartz was a nun or that the murder took place at a parish.
As tragic as this case is and as godly as she was, it's just not relevant to the case other than to inflame the passions of the jury.
Attorney Robert Gorant says Carroll has been locked away in solitary confinement since his arrest for his own safety because of who he is suspected of killing.
It's that inflammatory while he's incarcerated. How could it be any less so to a jury?
Today, federal prosecutors fired back, saying her religion defined who Sister Bartz was. They say leaving that fact out would mislead jurors. Prosecutors also argue Sister Bartz was targeted because she was a nun. Carroll admitted he robbed the priest's home at the same parish a month earlier. Prosecutors say Carroll knew the church complex would be an easy target.
Prosecutors also don't buy the defense's argument that the fact the victim was a nun will taint the jury pool. They say not everyone who went to Catholic school has fond memories of their strict nun teachers, and that a lot of people don't sympathize with the Catholic Church because of all the sex abuse scandals. Back to you.
All right, Katie, the feds say that possible prejudice against Rogelio Carroll because the victim was a nun is an issue that can be handled by questioning during jury selection. Carroll faces the possibility of life without parole.